Hi, my name is Andre Nichols. I'm with Medtronic. I want to start this video off by first and foremost saying thank you to all you healthcare workers out there, what you're doing for us on a daily basis. Those of us from afar are cheering you on and with the utmost amount of gratitude. So the reason though I'm here today to talk with you is to give you a quick in-service on our laparoscopic smoke evacuation system. It comes in a peel pack like such. The device has a short end with tubing and then obviously a long end. This is what will stay on your sterile field. So you have this shorter tubing end that'll be lower locked onto your trocar. Then you have the filter itself with a dial to adjust the settings as the amount of smoke evacuation. This is the portion that will be thrown off. This end plugs into either a canister suction, your wall suction, or a suction management system if you have one of those available to you. If you have options, the suction management systems work really well, so I would suggest that. But again, wall suction works as also. When you set up your suction, when you plug this in, the settings on that can be anywhere from 100 to 400. I always recommend starting on the lower end, and then you can adjust up as needed during the case. When you are plugging this in or attaching this to your trocar, a couple things I want to point out. Do not plug this or do not attach this to your camera trocar. It'll pull the smoke to the camera, affect your visualization. Ideally, you want to set it opposite from where the insufflation comes in just to provide that cross ventilation. But other important pieces of this on the trocar selection would be, if you can, have a larger port, so a 12 port works great versus a 5. And that's because, again, if it's a working port and you've got instruments in there, if you have a 5 instrument and a 5 trocar, the cannula itself doesn't have a lot of room left to pull the smoke. So a larger port works better if it's possible or available to you. If not, and say all you have are 5s as your option, in that case, I would suggest maybe the 5 that's used the least. So again, it doesn't have an instrument constantly plugging it up, so the smoke has time to evacuate that way. So that would be my other suggestion on there. So you may have to play around with it a little bit to see what's the best setup for the particular case you're using it on. Also, the filter itself, it has 2 ways it can connect to the drape. There is a tab on the back that you can just basically clip it on to the drape, or it does have a way for you to loop the drape through and clamp it down if needed. So that's another option. In this, it has a fluid trap in it, so if any condensation gets in, it'll get caught in that. And then it has an ULPA filter, which is obviously what takes out all of the toxins and the whole point for using this. The dial here, as I mentioned, this stays on the surgical field. So tech, surgeon, whomever is going to have the option to adjust this as needed for the amount. If you have it all the way turned up, it's going to pull smoke at 14 liters per minute. My suggestion, just as you get to know the procedure and what works best, start on a lower setting here and then you can adjust up. It should not cause you to lose pneumo, but again, always start at the lower settings. It'll prevent you from burning extra gas, especially if it's not needed. Then when there's a time when there is more smoke, you can turn it up and adjust it back down again, because it will all be on the surgical field. So those are just a few things that I wanted to point out. If you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to reach out. But again, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. We're here to support you in whatever means necessary.